Hey there, welcome to another episode of Coffee Solo. We're recording this at 10:16 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in the greater Vegas area. That's Pacific Standard, of course. Some people think it's Mountain, but no, Pacific Standard Time. On this Friday, January 9, 2026, that makes the episode 2026-01-09-01. If you're familiar with the typical format of a DNS record serial number. Today's title, Tradition Shredded. My new convention is to title the episodes after the first thing I want to talk about. I have, 4 bullet items? So I've prepared a little bit. I only wrote some quick notes, so I've not written out the entire show. In the case where I don't know what I'm going to talk about, I'll title the episode after. See how that works. It is the 9th. The final day of CES was earlier today on this Friday. Tuesday through Friday, another CES 2026 in the books. The summary of today's episode. I have been to CES every year since I moved to Las Vegas in 2013. Not this year. The links are available in the links, wherever you found this audio program. The episode description. So you got your show notes with the summary. You got your links. I'm moving away from reading out the links. The links are there for you to click on. If at some point I have unusual links for a particular episode, I may describe them, give them some sort of context. Otherwise, you can find the homepage link where this episode is first available on ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/danhugo/posts. And my buymeacoffee.com/danhugo profile page. So I cheated a little bit, but yeah, the idea is to cut down on the time I spend reading links that should be clickable. So first things first, based on the title and the summary, which I just read, my annual tradition, I was going to go, but each morning I would awake and I would think, I don't want to go. Maybe tomorrow. Then it was Friday, or this morning, and I said I could catch the last day. It closes at 4 p.m., and I didn't. I did not do it. So yeah, I've been to CES like 12 times in a row, or 13, whatever it was, and tradition shredded. I was going to say broken tradition, but I thought a shredding machine would look cooler for the cover art. So yeah, maybe not. Why did I not feel like going? Well, for a couple of reasons. One, I kind of had a feeling that I was not in the mood, because every year, since they have like remote ticket locations, if you've never been, it's essentially, I don't know if this is still true, because I think the Electric Daisy Carnival, EDC, might get almost as many people, maybe. But, and I think the Formula One race was supposed to bring in as many visitors for the race itself. I don't know if it did. I haven't compared. That would be an interesting comparison to make. And then New Year's Eve, whatever the final attendance estimate is. So it'll be interesting. Anyway, the CES is often touted as the largest trade show. So not largest event, I guess, but largest trade show in Vegas. It has been as high as 175, between 175 and 180,000 attendees. Then you add in the booth, what would you call it? Booth exhibitors. The exhibitors and the event staff and security and all that stuff. You're looking at, there's thousands of exhibitors. So you're looking at, 200,000 people here for CES usually. Or I'm sorry, max, up at the upper end of the range. This year, another year of 140-ish thousand. Last year was 140,000. 2022 was like 75,000, I think it was. I talked about this in a previous episode, so I looked them up then. A previous episode of another audio program. So I looked up the numbers recently. I'm not looking at them right now, but it's something like 75, 72, something like that. It's pretty bad. It was a ghost town. So then it was about 140, and here again, 100, a little over 140 is the estimate. and they usually audit the number, I guess, for some reason, probably because in order to maintain their gravitas, they have to show people that attendance is still worthy. So yeah, 142-ish allegedly. Now, I did not go, but because the remote ticket option has been there for years because of this huge volume of people, so they basically spread out the badge pickup. You can get your badge at the airport. You can get the badge along the strip in various places. You can go to the convention center early, like Sunday and Monday. If you're in for the press stuff, obviously you would get your badge for that. If you're an exhibitor, you can get a what do they call, like a load-in early badge, right? So because you got to be on the site to set up your booth and all that. So they have this whole process, and it works pretty well. I mean, you can literally get your badge under 5 minutes if you go to a place without a line. So my trick was always, used to be the remote location in recent years was the D downtown. It's just called the D if you're not familiar.
Sounds like you've got the badge.
Oh, please no.
The downtown location.
Computer, stop. Computer, go into do not disturb for 2 hours. Now it's going to start talking again because it's stupid. Stop. I hate Alexa Plus. Anyway, I don't know what does the plus sign mean. So I would go to the D and I would get the badge pickup. And because there was nobody there, I'd go like Sunday. Show would start Tuesday every year. So I would get the badge in and out like piece of cake. Occasionally, if I would go and there were other people getting their badge, it still was moving, 10 minutes. So there's really no better option, especially if you live here. I mean, yeah, it does make sense. And now you can't. It used to be that you could get your badge at the convention center. I think I don't know if it was CES. It must have been some other show, but they would give you something that you'd get a lanyard for your badge. But in some cases, I think you'd get some sort of like a really, really, really cheap, sponsored, of course, not a canvas bag, but like really crappy, pulpy material with some sort of some other advertising materials inside. And of course, that was your swag bag. You could pick up stuff from booths and, whatever. Anyway, so probably the last 2 or 3 years, I don't even know if the convention center, like when you arrive at the show, get your badge. I think that option's been basically off the table for a while. This year, you could get your badge at the Central Hall and the South Hall. I think you could get it at the North Hall, but these were discouraged. Like right at the top of the page, it says, get your badge at remote locations. So they expected so you're basically, all right, if you paid $300 for a badge in some cases, we should provide some minimal level of customer service and give you your badge when you get here. But they were really encouraging. So one year I went to the airport and got my badge. Was that 2 years? It might have been 2 years ago. I go to the D. No, that was 2 years ago. I go to the D and get my badge. Last year I must have been in the airport just to try it out, just to see. Before the pandemic, I used to go to the D or wherever they were giving them out downtown. Was it always? I think it was always the D. I think it's been the D for a while. So super easy. Anyway, Monday morning, I'm like, all right, I can shoot down sometime today, 8 to 5, I think, 9 to 5, whatever. Big window, go down, get the badge, come back home. I was going to get a 7-day bus pass. The bus, if I want to go to the Venetian Expo, jump on the Deuce, the 2-level double-decker. If you've been to Vegas, you've seen them. So take the bus from where I live to downtown. So CX downtown, switch to the Deuce, on to the Venetian. Basically, get off at Fashion Show Mall, do the 2 bridges to cross the strip, and then is it on Koval? I can't remember. Koval starts somewhere, but anyway, that street. And I'm there, and it's kind of a pain. It's not horrible, but because of so much traffic on the first day of the show, especially, you got buses, you got Uber and Lyft, you got taxis, you got people walking and not paying attention. So it's kind of annoying. But you get into the Venetian Expo. Then the slightly nicer way to do this, and I can't remember when I did this, but is to, I know it. I think it was 2 years ago. It wasn't last year. It was maybe 2 years ago. I took the deuce. I went down past Fashion Show, wherever I could get another bridge. I probably went all the way down to Aladdin. And then I crossed over, wherever I could go to get a coffee. And then I waited for the deuce, got the deuce, went to Paris. I'm sorry, not Paris. Went to Venetian. Maybe I got the coffee at Paris. Anyway, the point is, I went through Venetian and entered the show from within the resort area by the theater. There's a Starbucks there if you ever want one. There's a Illy coffee shop in the Grand Canal Shops. That's arguably better, but that could be a little crowded on the actual show day. So I got a coffee and was walking to the bus again, whatever. Anyway, either way, it is crowded. So having your badge already is really quite nice. It's almost as convenient as if you're like re-entering the US and you can stop at a customs, a remote customs, whatever they call it. So if you're in Dublin Airport, you can go through US Customs. And so you're already on the other side of customs when you land at, say, Newark or something. So yeah, the way to go. So when I did not do that Monday, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to go to the show this year. And I ended up not going. Why not? Let me tell you. I've been to these shows every year. Every year, there are more and more people who bring their cameras, cell phones or whatever. Sometimes it's multiple people. They bring their little crew. They're here for press exposure on the first day, Sunday, Monday, at the Mandalay Bay, I think it was. They are roaming around the show floor all week. They're getting press access, so they'll go early. I think they let press in like an hour early. So anybody with appointments, they go take, hey, we're a keyboard YouTube channel. So they jump in at Razer, or I don't know if Keychron had a booth there or whatever, right? So all your keyboard folks, hey, we do laptops. So you're going to get in and see the latest Lenovo rolling screen, the rolling gamer laptop. Hey, we do motherboards. So Asus is going to let you in to see their upcoming, cutting edge, whatever. So, and then the list goes on. So everybody's in there getting coverage. So right away, you know what the easy way is to see CES? Online. So normally I spend my time at Eureka Park because that's where all the startup people are. That's where your student organizations, their country will sponsor a pavilion. So you can see, South Korea usually has a very strong presence. France usually has a very strong presence. Italy, the Netherlands, Turkey, even Ukraine had a few booths last year. But South Korea is like heavy hitter. You know who doesn't have a booth there? Anyone in Vegas. 2 years ago, UNLV, the Office of Economic Development, had one booth, 10 by 10, in Eureka Park. That's it. They threw that together. I was told by somebody that works for the city that on Monday they didn't have tickets. Like literally, oh, that's right, CES is this week. Whoops. And biggest trade show in Vegas every year. Arguably one of the biggest events every year, depending on, rankings and stuff. Whoopsie, forgot. So as I have been pushing for more examination of the Vegas entrepreneurial innovation ecosystem and the economic diversification efforts, I really want more people to be more aware. And so some of the things I'm working on are in that direction. So once again, I'm like, what if we're supposed to be the global innovation hub and all this other silliness, but we have nobody showing anything at CES, what is this? I think it was it's when Lombardo was coming in. So was that 22? The GOED, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, was going to sponsor a pavilion. So I don't know if that's what they call them, but it's one sort of super booth space. Might be like 60 or 100 feet by 2 rows. So probably like 40. So 60 by 40, 100 by 40. It might be 100 by 60. Who knows? It's multiple booths in one big footprint. And then rather than setting up booths, they set up like a big common area and they give you little podiums or little tables. Again, almost like a standing desk. So there'll be like a little back wall, like a cubicle wall, but they're not enclosed. So people could enter the pavilion and wander around and talk to, oh, you're from Vegas. Oh, you're all Vegas startups. Okay. Or you're all Nevada startups if GoEd was sponsoring it. They're statewide. So they were going to do that. And our organization, the Innovate for Vegas Foundation, was invited to participate. It was like, oh, okay, we'll come up with some cool thing to demo. And then, I don't know, sometime in early December, remember the show is in first full week of January. Because the new governor's coming in, Sisolak did not get reelected. So obviously, elections are in November, first Tuesday after the first Sunday. I don't know if we may have heard about this like after election day, but either way, because he didn't win, they didn't want to saddle the incoming governor with this expense for some stupid reason. So they canceled it. That was the closest that I have seen to any sort of participation in this event that everybody bragged. Oh, we're the global innovation hub rivaling Silicon Valley. We're the next Silicon Valley. We have this thriving entrepreneurial, and you're like, well, where is everybody? To paraphrase Enrico Fermi, where is everybody? So because of that, and because, it doesn't hurt that there's a measles outbreaks are on the rise. Everybody's anti-mask now because in 2020 CES, 140 some thousand people from all over the place. I've already done my conspiracy theory on this. So 2021, virtual show, everything's locked down, total chaos as far as event planning and travel and so on. 2022, people come back, 75 people attend. We're all wearing masks and everything. I think people said, you know what, enough of that. And so I'm like, oh my, so there's a whole new flu strain. Is it K? I don't know if that's supposed to be K or Kappa with their Greek naming or Greek lettering. Kappa, I think, or K, whatever. Strain K, I don't know. And yeah, the measles thing, there's been hundreds of cases within range of the Vegas area. And if somebody's going to transport a virus somewhere, it's going to be Vegas. Come on. So that's not exactly why I did not go, but I was like, I don't really feel like going. If I go, even though I don't want to go, and then I catch something, I'll be really ticked off. So that did not help. But I basically said, you know what? I've been there 12 years in a row. I might get a couple of things from Chotkeys, right? Swag. Oh, look, another USB cable. Oh, a thumb drive. Ooh, stickers, right? Whatever. And every year I've said this, there are people getting better video, better, like closer in. They're able to get, no crowds around. They get zoomed in. They get to touch it and feel it. And so I'm like, if there's something I wanted to go see, like a keyboard, you can type on it if it's available to interact with. Oh, the latest monitor. Let me go see the latest in micro dot or OLED or whatever, right? But a lot of stuff is software. A lot of stuff is demo mode, right? Like 1/3 of the things at CES are never going to see the light of day. 1/3 of the things are already shipping. So you're really there for like 1/3 of the coming soon kind of stuff. But it's like, I'm going to see it anyway. I'll get better views of it from a YouTuber. And again, Eureka Park was my favorite spot. But if I really was being honest with myself, and I sometimes am, I'm like, you know what? I go to Eureka Park, I wander through and see everything, and I'll stop and talk to people and see what's up, and they talk about their product, and nothing has really ever come of that. Because I'm not in the market for anything. I'm not looking to promote anything. Yes, the Sentiment Research Collaboratory is a thing. So I have two options. One, go talk to these startup people who are in no position to place products in Vegas in any usable quantities. If they are someday, maybe. But or two, I can go talk on the main floors to companies. And I've actually done that before, kind of exploratory. I did that 2 years ago when I was there, as opposed to when I was not there. So 2 years ago, I was like, so what, can you imagine? I was actually, one of the booths I was talking to was a big company. They do all kinds of branded products, cell phone chargers, cables, accessories. And I said, could you imagine a possibility of and I think it was the Fontainebleau had just opened. or had been open for a few months or something. The Resorts World was open for a while at the time. Said, so, take these big nameplate resorts. They're in the news. They've been decades in the making. Fontainebleau, I think, was almost 20 years before it finally got finished up. So could you imagine a Fontainebleau branded, color scheme and everything, phone charger or other accessories that could literally be in the room and people take them, as like a towel phone charger. And they're like, yeah, we could do that. Obviously, it's what we do. So that was kind of my foray into like, how can I leverage 40 million people coming to this city or this area every year? It'll be less than 40 million this year, I think, but probably 36, 38, probably 30. Let's call it 37 million. That's my guess, somewhere in there. So 37 million people coming here. Only 2.3 million people live here. So to not try to take advantage of, not of the people, but of this volume. So my notion is to make the city a showcase for new technologies, new products, new services, so that when people come here, they can experience them. And then if you are able to capture their sentiment research collaboratory, if you can say, hey, what did you think of this product? So in-room accessories, services, maybe in small venues. So offer some sort of interaction at the small business level, small restaurants, small bars, small shopping. Hey, here's the latest, I don't know, flashlight, whatever the case may be, right? So it would depend entirely on products that people wanted to do this with. So the idea came from my English teacher. I don't remember if I've told this story here. My English teacher, when I was a sophomore in high school, was Teacher of the Year. Yay for us. Terry Fields. And she was cool. So I'm only making fun of her because she actually didn't harp on it too much, but it was a big deal for a while. So she was fine. So she was big on vocabulary words, all kinds of stuff like that. But along somewhere in the timeline of class, she said, oh, when I was, before I became a teacher, or as I was becoming a teacher, maybe it was early, it was many years prior, she didn't have a lot of money and so she got into teaching. So she was writing teenage romance novels, and I think she still might be doing that. So writing the, YA content, right? Young adult. I think it was her first book or something. And the publisher wanted her to do some sort of a demographic survey. So targeting your readership or your intended readership, young adults, find out whatever it was. So take a survey. And as she was telling this, she's like, we don't have the resources to do that. How am I supposed to contact all these people? Now, this was in Phoenix, Arizona. So as she's telling the story, she says, and then we had this idea, and we drove to Disneyland in Anaheim, California, and she went in, and this was a long time ago, so before the day pass and all that, so people had their e-tickets and whatever, and there were huge lines. People were waiting an hour to get on a ride or whatever. It's like there were people in my demographic just standing there waiting, trying to kill time. So I would go up to the parents, say, can I talk to the kids? Get the survey done. Next. I was like, why are people not doing that in Vegas? So Sentiment Research Collaboratory, that's what that is. I cannot imagine some of the proposals for key industries and economic diversity plans. I don't know how they're going to work here. I talk about this a lot in the Cafe Genius Impresarios audio program. I don't know how that's going to work. So to me, 40 million people, give or take, every year, why are we not doing something other than charging them parking and resort fees, right? So yeah. And so given the way 2025 worked out, something like, we'll call it 10% reduction in tourism for the entire year. The final numbers will come out soon, but some months it was 11.3 year over year, right? So I think it was July or August was down 11% for visitors. The thing that was weird was like, oh, gaming revenue is up. That was revenue or profits, winnings. That I don't remember, but we're just throwing numbers around here. So I think it was 0.3% positive. in downtown, and downtown was doing slightly better, so it was very small, but it was plus. Green is good. So people are saying, well, they're aiming at the high rollers and the people with the money. I'm like, I don't know if the high rollers are going downtown though. So my theory is locals were basically saying, oh, there are fewer visitors. It'll be more fun to go out and do some gambling, see a couple of shows or whatever as locals. Because locals are often, well, first of all, locals hang out downtown more than on the strip. But also, people are often not so thrilled with crowds of people from other places. So who knows? I mean, hopefully over the course of the year, we'll get more data from the LVCVA, the Convention and Visitors Authority, and they'll tell us things like Formula One is a great thing. Pay no attention to those people suing us for damaging their small business. Yeah, I don't know. Getting a clear picture of what's going on is going to be tricky, but that's my little project for 2026 anyway. So there are more important things to me than having gone or not gone to CES. So I figured, who am I impressing by going every year without fail? Not even me. So I skipped it. So there you go. Tradition shredded. It is Friday, January 9th. So on the 7th, I don't even want to go down this path, but the ICE murder in Minneapolis, is it Renee? Was it Nicole? I think it's Renee with 2 E's, 3 E's, Renee, Renee Good. And then John, I'm not laughing at that. Is it Jonathan Ross? So the Daily Mail, a British public agency of some sort, published I guess they have a U.S. edition. So the Daily Mail published his name first. Oh, the officer who murdered this woman, Jonathan Ross. And then in the article, they linked to their own article about Jonathan Ross. Jonathan Ross is a presenter. He is a comedian. At one point, Jonathan Ross, I don't know if you're familiar with the Penn and Teller Fool Us presentation at the Rio here in Vegas. It's a theater show, and they happen to televise it, but it's recorded in a theater setting. I don't want you to have to guess, but you can if you want. Guess who their first MC was, like the announcer that would come up on stage and announce each of the acts, do a little, interact, humor. He would be the sort of the default volunteer. Can I get somebody to pick a card? Oh, Jonathan, yes, please. Yep. Well, I kind of gave it away there. So Jonathan Ross was here in Vegas for some amount of time for their first couple of seasons. And then was it? It might have been Jen Kramer. She's now a magician with residence at, no. She was not. She was on the show, but she was not the MC. So was it just Allison Hannigan after Jonathan Ross? And now it is, there must have been someone in the middle there, but Allison Hannigan of Bandcamp fame. I mean, you've probably seen her on like Buffy or something. But yeah, Allison Hannigan, and now it's Brooke Burke. I don't know about that one. Allison Hannigan was pretty good, actually. She was pretty funny. She played a good straight, like make me look silly or whatever. But yeah, I don't know about Brooke Burke, but Jonathan Ross. Anyway, so Jonathan Ross, not the person who murdered Renee Good. So I thought that was sort of telling, like, oh, you guys are so good at checking facts that you don't know that you've linked to the wrong person. Way to break that news. Anyway, it's bad. It's super bad. There's so much misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. You take it. Take your pick. They're all out there. People are literally, like, the video shows this. Nope, she was going to run him over. Well, no, like, she's trying to drive away. She even said, I'm trying to get out of your way or something like that. It's just bad. It's really bad. And then, Thursday, 2 people were shot but survived in Portland. There's just going to be more of these. And I'm not a fan. I do not approve. I have a feeling this will be a topic of conversation more, not less, between now and the midterm elections. But we'll see. So I'm going to leave that for now, and I'm sure we'll come back to it. But we need better timeline, and because a lot of this stuff is going to come down to red said, blue said, if you know what I mean, right? So, oh, but if you look at the video like this, if you look at the video like that, if this other video just came out, and I'm like, you know what? This sounds like off topic, but I don't know if you remember this, if you ever heard of this story. So when George Lucas finished with his first, oh, I don't know if that'd be the director's cut or the first cut or preview cut or whatever they call it, he films all of Star Wars back in 1976 or whatever. The film came out in May of 1977. I saw it around then. Not on opening day, but soon after. So I was not here for this part either. He has a couple of his friends, I believe Steven Spielberg was among them, come and see this preliminary first cut. And apparently everybody said, "Ooh, this is not good. This is not good." And so Star Wars, you'll probably, if you Google this, you'll probably find results. Or if you ask your favorite chat tool or whatever the world is coming to, Star Wars was saved in the edit bay. It was saved by the edit or whatever, however you want to word it. So it is possible to take something, do some editing, and make a good movie or a bad movie or a video clip that supports or refutes a particular claim. See where I went there? So I'm a little bit concerned about some of this stuff. And then, of course, nowadays you can just say, oh, that's AI. Okay, so we're in for a rough ride this year. That's my prediction. Here's my thing for 2026. It's going to sound like I'm fed up, and it should. I've spent a lot of time in recent years, especially, reaching out to people for a variety of reasons. Could be project related for our nonprofit here. So that's in the last 4 years. This is year 4, so 3 years. Some related to work, especially if I was actually consulting on something. But, so some will be, hey, do you want me to help you with that? Or do you want to pay me to help you with that? Some normal, friendly, just outreach to people that I know. Hey, what's up? A little ping, see if you're still around. Should I delete you from my Rolodex? That kind of stuff. Whatever it is. I never, not never, 95% of the time, ghost here in Vegas especially, but just general. I don't know if it's post-pandemic, like I hate people rippling through the universe, but I have wasted so much time, so much frustration. So for this year, I'm putting a stop to as much of that as possible. I was just having this conversation earlier on Friday. I'm not going to reach out to people as much as possible. I'm going to pursue the things I'm going to pursue the things I'm pursuing. And then I'm going to consider, I will weigh responding if they decide to contact me. There are too many dangling outreach emails floating around. And if those people decide, oh, now I see what you were talking about, what am I supposed to do with that? Oh, you just decided you wanted to get back to me at your convenience. And this happens all the time. With CES, this used to happen more, but I think I started this, I kind of prototyped this response pattern starting about 2 years ago. If I contact you, whoever you are listening right now, if I contact you, LinkedIn, email, some messaging platform, whatever it is, maybe we know each other, maybe we don't. If we don't, probably email, probably LinkedIn, one of those. If you decide I'm not going to respond, then fine. Now, what I've received a few times over the years is people are coming here for CES or maybe any trade show. We have lots and lots of trade shows here. Hey, Dan, I know I didn't get back to, I was supposed to, I totally forgot, but I'm going to be in Vegas. I don't respond to those people anymore. I used to, oh, well, did you want me to block out the entire week and just sit and wait for you because people don't do that anyway. So, because I used to do that when I first moved here, when I first got to Vegas. Oh, any friend coming to Vegas, let me know. Go hang out. Doesn't matter, because here's the deal. They're not coming here to see me. My parents coming to Vegas. They're probably, random people coming to Vegas. Are you coming to Vegas to see me or because you're going to a trade show? Oh, well, I'm going to be at the whatever show. Okay. You enjoy your visit to Vegas. Because 99% of the time, oh man, I'm sorry, I have to go to this. Oh yeah, well, I got to go to the airport in the morning. I have a morning flight. That was one of my favorites. This person I knew from China. I think she was actually here from Europe. She was working in their Europe office. She's like, hey, how's it going? And she was really nice in China. She helped me with some of the visa stuff, and it was my first trip to China. She's in the electronics business, so very helpful. She is world renowned for being just a nice, helpful person. So very nice. Hey Dan, I'm going to be in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas before. I'm like, oh, okay. And I can't remember what show it was. It was not CES. It was something else. I'm like, okay. So I'll be there from like Tuesday to Friday. Okay. So I said, hey, when you're here, you should definitely check out a couple of things. And I said, yeah, let me know if you want to meet up or something. And it was Friday night. Oh, you know what it was? It must have been April 1st or the night before April 1st. The makerspace in the Becker Tech Center on the west side of the Vegas area. They were opening up their makerspace, sponsored by the Becker family. And this person in China, they have a very well-known makerspace. China's really into makers and electronics and robots and all that stuff, obviously, if you look at the news today. So, and I met her after I was at Intel. Was it after? Yeah, I guess it was after. I was actually there for Maker Faire Shenzhen. So the take home, I said, hey, this new makerspace, they're having their ribbon cutting and all that tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. That might be interesting if you want to go, and then, we can have a coffee and whatever. Oh, I'm leaving Friday night, like last flight out back to China. I was like, okay, so you contacted me at the beginning of the week with no, like, why did you contact me? That's my glib and cynical self. I said, who does your bookings? Oh, I booked the flight myself. Okay, so you came here knowing that you were not going to spend any time other than when you were on the show floor or doing whatever you're doing. So why contact me? I don't think she had a good answer to that. I haven't talked to her since. Not out of, for no other reason than I don't think she's coming to Vegas again, and I'm not going to China, so why bother? So yeah, I'm kind of tired of all that stuff. I need to focus on what I'm doing, and then if people want to contact me, so be it. So I'm putting a stop to this first one to reach out. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Forget that. You contact me if you want. The weather. I know that's a ridiculous topic, very hack, but the weather has, like almost overnight, though it had cooled off significantly a couple of weeks ago, and then there was a return of spring or something. Like, oh, it's the weather is unseasonably warming again. But the winter is upon us. The weather has finally turned exactly toward winter. No, a little bit late, but with a vengeance. There was a wind warning, I think, last night. And tonight there's a wind warning and maybe a freezing warning. Yeah, I guess the temperature, by some accounts, I think Open Weather is telling me it's 36 degrees here. It's this other thing says 41. I don't have like a temperature sensor for temperature outside my window, but I should get one. But it's cold. And yesterday I was outside around 9 p.m. in my neighborhood, and it was freezing. For the desert, it was very cold, wind chill and all that. So it was really cold. I'm from New Jersey. It's not like New Jersey cold, but it's cold. So yeah, it's not Colorado. It's not Buffalo, New York, which has traditionally like freezes over like ice on ice. And it certainly isn't Canada here in Vegas. And you can ask Canadian people how the weather is here right now, if you can find any, because they seem to be avoiding Vegas, possibly the entire United States. But certainly part of our tourism problem is that Canadian people are not coming to Vegas anymore, or not in the numbers they used to. But it has been quite chilly. I haven't gotten sick yet, but I do have to admit that this was, like I said, the measles and the flu, but just in general, every time you go to CES or any big trade shows like this, you're packed in there, you're in close quarters with so many people from so many different places. You're going to get something. You're going to get a cold, you're going to get something mild, you're going to be, plus if you're talking all day, you're going to get a sore throat. From talking, but also that could be the beginning of like, however, I'm no immunologist or virologist, but that always seems to last into a cough or some other illness or trouble swallowing. I can't speak. My throat hurts. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Plus, I would be coming home at night, so it would probably be the show floor was open till 6 during the week. I believe that's correct. So, getting home 8, 9, like I said, it was freezing at 9 p.m. yesterday. That's not a recipe for good. So, could wear a coat. You know what the problem with that is? It is not freezing during the day. So now you got to carry a coat around. So I try to go with minimal, warm, tolerating cold. Anyway, I didn't go. Doesn't matter. So that's it. That's it. I have anything else at the end of my little notes here? I have to tell you, I literally wrote out. Just tell me how many words. Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool. I wrote 153 words in my outline. So, and 2 of those words are anything else. So that's kind of interesting. That's all. That's all I got. I wanted to end the week with a coffee solo. So I have. Thanks for listening as always. Don't forget to check out my other audio programs. You can find links to all of them, at the buymeacoffee.com/DanHugo site. Now, I kind of have mixed feelings. I could put links at the end of the show. I could read through them. And I've kind of been doing that, kind of like, I can remind people to go find the previous episodes and so on. The links are there. You can click on them. But there you go. And you know what? I will end by saying YouTube still marks automatic uploads. That is, it reads the RSS files for my various programs. So every program has a corresponding YouTube podcast posting. So it's a single frame video of the audio. And they always, like 99, I think every once in a while this doesn't happen, but that's the exception. The rule is when it gets uploaded, it could be anywhere from about 3 hours to 12, maybe more hours later. It literally, for no reason that I have deduced, gets flipped from public to private, and I have to go and reset it. So that's still on my list of things to automate. Should be pretty easy. Should be pretty easy to use, like a headless web browser. I'm looking at, I think it's called Light Panda. It's pure, there has no visual rendering whatsoever. You can use is it console mode? There's like a simplified Chrome headless mode. There's Firefox headless mode. Yeah, whatever. I kind of want to experiment with this Light Panda thing. I think it was written in Zig, the latest in a bevy of languages that nobody has to use anymore thanks to AI. But I really need to fix that because it's just annoying to me. There you go. All these are available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify. I need to get more places, RSS feeds, all that stuff. Anyway, that's all I got to say by now. It's time to go. So I guess bye now is what that would have meant. Take care now. Thank you for listening as always. Bye.